What's your thoughts on government cover-ups or covert societies attempting to control humanity? Do you believe in ancient astronauts, intergalactic communication, or extraterrestrial visitations? Ever had an experience with disembodied spirits or the paranormal universe? Are these subjects fact or fiction? Each week, Tony and Eddie explore these unbelievable realities and beyond. Exclusively on Truth Be Told.
Hello and welcome to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie, where we believe in experience becomes truth. I'm your host, Tony Sweet, and joining me now in studio is world-renowned psychic Eddie Connor.
Thank you, Tony, and hi, everybody. Dreams are a wonderful gift, and actually dreams are a way to communicate with our loved ones on the other side, and they provide us with answers to many of our life's questions. But how do we learn to decipher our nightly dreams so that they can guide us in our daily lives?
Tonight we have famed author and dream interpreter Cynthia Richmond here with us to help us understand what our dreams mean and how they can help us live happily ever after.
Well, everybody wants that. So I'm sure you've seen Cynthia Richmond on lots of television talk shows. She's been on nearly every one of them, from Oprah, Dr. Oz, Dr. Phil, The Doctors, The View, Bill Maher, and The Today Show. Cynthia has helped celebrities and civilians alike remember and understand their dreams. She has written long-time columns in major newspapers such as the Los Angeles Times and the Arizona Republic. Cynthia's books, Dream Power, How to Use Your Night Dreams to Change Your Life, was published by Simon & Schuster. Her other book, The Dream Power Journal, which is a system for organizing your dreams to enhance your life, was endorsed by Deidre Barrett, Ph.D., John Edward, Judith Orloff, M.D., and Stephen Simon.
Our audience was so impressed with Cynthia the last time she was on the show. As a result, she's back with us to answer questions, guide our audience, and help the world to interpret their dreams.
And on that note, please welcome author and dream interpreter Cynthia Richmond.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
We have you guys at this.
She's back with us. How are you, Cynthia?
Oh, I'm doing great here in beautiful Red Rock country of Sedona, where everybody dreams every night and everybody's living their dream.
Oh, my gosh. See, you just had to rub it in.
I know. How hot is it there?
Oh, well, if you want to bring that up.
I know. By the way.
It's probably about 90 today, but there's a nice breeze, and it's a nice dry heat, and it's just beautiful.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's
90 degrees.
That's not too bad.
I thought you were going to say like 190. So, okay, the last time you were here, I can't believe how it's been a while.
It's been, I think, a couple of years.
A couple of years.
Maybe.
But, we talked about some dreams and stuff that I had went through, and I think you really helped me a lot. So let's just catch up in the last 2 years. What has been going on with you? I'm sure there's been a lot of dreams of your own that intrigued you.
I go through periods and phases like just about everybody does, where there's times that my dreams are vivid and I remember them and they're just incredibly important. And there's times that I don't pay that much attention, or maybe I don't remember them. Sometimes I only remember the interpretation of the dream and not the actual dream itself, which is kind of fun. But what's been happening professionally is a lot of people are talking about dreams of departed loved ones. And even people who don't believe in whatever we might call it, some people might say woo-woo or anything metaphysical or that kind of spiritual, are having these dreams, and they feel so real and vivid that they feel like they're visitations, but they're afraid to assume that. And so I've been having a lot of clients who are talking about departed loved one visitations and other types of things, like a sense of being in a future lifetime or a different dimension, and wondering if that could possibly be, because those types of dreams very often feel different than your average dream about, eating a pizza, whatever it might be.
When I'm eating salad for like a month, pizza does kind of come into play.
Pop into your dream.
It's for me, believe me.
Do you think part of the reason I am one of those woo-woo people, I love the woo-woo world, and I'm learning to be better about the solid world. Do you think maybe part of the reasons for the visitations from loved ones in the dream state, particularly right now, might be because the veil between the dimensions has gotten thinner and even falling between the third and fourth dimensions since 2012?
You are an expert in more than I am in dimensions, but I do think it seems to be easier. I don't know if more of us with our interest are raising our own frequency of vibration to make that, hotline to heaven a little easier, or what it might be. But more and more people are accepting it. Maybe that is part of what makes it easier for people to have it, inviting it, not being afraid of it. And I guess the more we open our heart to it, the more capable we are of connecting.
I think that's true because it's that expanded awareness.
Yeah.
The more you become aware of something, the more you're in control of it.
Right.
And then once you start to control it, then you're able to have not more power over it, but it enhances your own innate power in your daily life.
Yeah.
Well, I think the reason that departed loved ones might choose to connect with us in a dream state is it's not very scary. It's not very intimidating. We're dreaming anyway, we're sleeping. So it might feel easier than if they walked in the living room and had a conversation with us. I also connect with departed loved ones in other ways while I'm awake. But I think the dream state might be the way that for most people, it seems like an easy, simple, gentle way to make that happen.
Which leads me to the question, Miss Cynthia Richmond, when are you going to write a book, a dream journal on visitations with loved ones in the spirit world?
Well, that sounds like an excellent idea, Eddie. I love that topic. You know what's so interesting is there's so many credentialed people, MDs, that are talking about near-death experiences and life on the other side and connecting with departed loved ones, whether they're under anesthesia on an operating table or dreaming, and in that consciousness. And so with that kind of authority behind it, it's probably a good time to write that book.
Ding, ding, ding.
Eddie's good at that, throwing out great ideas.
He is.
He is, yes. I was going to ask you, because when dreams come to people, let's say that I'm dreaming about a puppy and Eddie's dreaming about a puppy. Do you decipher the puppy by the personality of the person, or is it always the same meaning?
Really good question, Tony. So every symbol has a universal association, what Jung called the collective unconscious, that we can establish. But every dream needs to be interpreted on a personal level. So puppy to you might be you had one as a child and it was taken away because it was tearing up the house too much and you loved it and it was a very sad experience. Puppy for Eddie might be an entirely different thing. So we have to ask the dreamer what it means to them, what it brings up, and add that association to the interpretation.
So dream interpretation is very
open to interpretation.
Open to interpretation, but it's very like almost like a psychologist in a way. Did you have to have that background of that, or was this something that just came natural to you?
I'm a board-certified behavioral therapist, which behavioral therapists traditionally don't even acknowledge an unconscious mind. They're all about removing behaviors that don't work for you, habits, phobias, anxiety, depression, and then replacing that behavior with one that does work. But people would come into my practice with wanting to build self-esteem or wanting to learn to have more comfort speaking in public, like I'm not doing very well right this second. And they would sit down and say, before we get started, I just have to share this dream with you. And the dream would always give me some important insight into what was going on with them, which helped me then to help them better, to personalize their treatment. So a lot of people interpret dreams that don't have a psychology background. It certainly helps. But making it personal, very subjective to the dreamer, instead of sort of a cookie cutter stamp, is the way to go to really get to the nitty gritty of the meaning of the dream.
Well, I love that. Now, I've never thought to ask you this, but have you ever had a dream that stumped you so much that you needed to reach out and find a dream interpreter that was as good as you?
Well, I have reached out to other people, and I love to get another take on a dream. There's a woman here in Arizona, Dr. Gladys McGeary. She and her husband worked with Edgar Cayce. She's in her 90s, and she's still consulting as an MD. She's brilliant. She knows all the Cayce remedies. And she and I have done several things on a monthly basis down in Scottsdale and Phoenix, where she would go first, and then I'd give my slant on it, and vice versa, so that we could bring more party. And then sometimes something I didn't think of, she did, or vice versa. So yes, I absolutely reach out. I have a couple friends that are very good at dream interpretation, and sometimes it's easier to be objective when it's not your own dream.
Oh, I think that's true. Like readers like to go to other readers and sort of get different impressions from other people based on what their interpretation is.
Absolutely.
And so here's a quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson that's actually in your Dream Power Journal, which is about a system for organizing your dreams to enhance your life. And the quote is, "Judge of your natural character by what you do in your dreams." What does that mean exactly?
Well, I think our dreams are kind of a way to vision our true self. And in our daily life, we're sometimes influenced by other things that are going on, or what we think somebody wants us to do, or the way they want us to be, and we want to be liked, or whatever it might be that's kind of influencing our behavior and our choices. In the dream state, it's coming from the unconscious and the subconscious mind. It's your true self. It's your pure self. So it's a good way to take a look. If you have a dream that's frightening, then to wake up and ask yourself, what in my life, in my waking life, is scaring me now, and what can I do about that? Is there some way that I can gain control over something or understand something so I'm more empowered when dealing with it, instead of in the conscious life or waking life doing what we think other people want us to do? I could give you some examples. Probably all the housewife shows have something along those lines.
Yeah. And now, I just had a client and friend of mine, Daryl, I won't say his last name to protect his anonymity, and he had what he thought was a bad dream. And part of the dream was he lives in this beautiful home up in the mountains, and in the dream, he was laying in the back of his house looking through this beautiful skylight, and he was looking up at a pine tree. And it was a monstrous pine tree. And in his waking life, he communicates with the pine tree. And he sends it love, and it helps him get grounded. He sits on his back porch in this beautiful bench, and he would commune with the pine tree. So in the dream, he's laying in the back part of his house, and he's looking up at the skylight at the pine tree. And suddenly the pine tree comes crashing down through the skylight, lands on his chest, and it's laying right across his chest, perfectly down his body like this. And so the back of his house is demolished, and then he's not hurt in any way, shape, or form. He says it crashed onto my heart chakra and my solar plexus. He said, I just got out from under it, and whenever I did, there was a party in my house. and I told him what I thought it meant, but he thought it was a bad dream. I was like, no. For my interpretation of it is it's a good dream because you're grounding in your heart chakra and your solar plexus even more. I think the house has something to do with your body and your mind and your spirit. But he said, why would it be such a traumatic feeling dream? And I answered it, I think it was to get your attention so you wouldn't forget the dream when you woke up. What's your interpretation of that?
Well, I love what you did with that dream. That's beautiful. I agree with everything you said. I'd add a couple other possibilities. The pine tree is so symbolic for so many things. The Druids and other cultures, you'd need to look at some of that historical associations with pine trees because of his waking life connection to the pine tree as well. But he's looking up through a skylight. So the house to me in this dream represents the shelter around it. It's like our boundaries.
Yeah.
And he's looking through. So there's this glass skylight, and he sees the tree, and then the tree comes in. And when it comes in, it lines up with his heart chakra and his solar plexus. So what he feels, feelings and the gut is always that truth, that gut meter. He's lining those up in alignment. For me, it's traumatic also, in addition to remembering it, because his subconscious really wants him to get this and remember it, that it's a breaking of barriers, a breaking in of boundaries, opening. And for me, it's an expansion dream of his spirituality or the heights he can reach with his spiritual practice.
Well, girl, it's almost like you know him. So can I read you something that I wrote in my dream journal?
Of course.
I want you to know I wrote this, I dreamt this in July of 2011. And so here's the dream. Dreamt of preparing for a Skype interview 2 days ago with Cynthia Richmond. And then under that, and I have it right here in writing, and this was literally like in July of 2011. Under that says changing website, bio, and TV appearances.
What does that mean, Mr. Eddie Connor?
I don't know. Since you're changing your website and your bio and your TV appearances on the new site that's coming up soon. So I don't know. I was going to ask my dream interpreter friend what it meant.
Well, I love that prediction. You know, I haven't done a lot of television lately. I had a little situation where a nervous, it was called chronic hemifacial spasm, and my face would just be taken over by nerves. And so the last show I did was doctors, and they shot me in profile and dark lighting. So I've been having a lot of treatment for that. So this is really the first time I've been on camera in a year and a half.
Wow.
So we'll see if it continues and opens up more new things.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that more off the air. Okay.
Okay.
And then here's the other, this same night I had this dream. I was in a public restroom. There were 2 doors that led into the restroom, and I could see everyone else that was in there. Plus, there was a door that did not shut securely, so I simply went to a different restroom. And then as I was leaving one restroom, going to the other restroom, my mom was standing there. She's like, "What are you doing, Edward?" And I said, "I'm just going to the bathroom, Mama."
And I can do it all by myself, Mama.
I can. Sometimes it takes 2 hands. I'm joking.
But
So you know, probably from my book, restrooms have to do with releasing something we no longer need. We've gotten the benefit from it, and it's time to let go of something. And so bathroom dreams come up at a time in our life when it's time to release and let go. It's a public bathroom. You're a public person. 2 doors to go in it. That's probably significant. 2 entrance, 2 opportunities, 2 something you'd have to think about. And then 1 door doesn't close all the way, so you go to another one. So you want privacy in this releasing. You don't want this to be a public thing that you're letting go of, but your subconscious knows it's time to let go of something you no longer need or is no longer benefiting you.
Well, I have a question about that because I've had a couple times where I am in deep sleep and I feel like I'm actually like urinating, and I wake up real quick thinking I actually urinated my bed and I didn't. What is that? You're not in a bathroom, but you're like
you don't actually
no,
okay.
no, but I was like, it felt so real. I was like, oh my God, I woke up thinking, did I just pee my bed or something? So what is that?
You have to first rule out the fact that you might actually need to use the bathroom.
Well, that's a good point, actually.
But urinating and the language of dreams, and I don't know what I can say on here. So you
say anything you want.
Okay, so peeing and pissing is about anger.
Oh.
It's something we use that term, and so it's usually having to do with anger and the need to release it. Interestingly, people that have an illness that revolves around the bladder very often have anger issues or unresolved anger. So if you have that again, Tony, ask yourself, okay, what's really pissing me off right now? What can I do about it, and what can I do about it?
That's such great.
That is.
And that goes back to the subconscious mind, right?
Yes.
So it's like during conscious daily life, you're doing a lot of things, Tony, and you're like, you got a lot on your plate and things are piling up and you're just working. But then when you finally do get to sink and rest, then that feeling of being and feeling pissed off starts to bubble up.
That's awesome to think. And Eddie, real quick, and I just want to put it out there for our listeners and some people on Facebook, because we're streaming to Facebook Live, also to ubnradio.com. I asked people if they had some dreams they wanted to be interpreted, and I hope that you don't mind if I even read them to you. I try to get them to call in. They may call in, but they wrote them on the Facebook Live. So first, Eddie, you go and ask your question.
Well, I just wanted to give you more confirmation on the dream that you just interpreted for me. And the reason Tony and I are asking about our dreams for the audience out there is because Cynthia is great at giving you the universal meaning of it, and then also fantastic at helping you understand what the puppy means for me versus what the puppy means for Tony, and what the puppy means for you as the individual listener. And so I've been working on my memoirs, and I've been working on them for a long time. And this dream that I'm telling you about was in 2011. So, Mom, I was always very, what do you say, cautious, not cautious, it's the wrong word, cognizant of my mom whenever I'm writing my memoirs, because I'll never do anything to hurt my mom's feelings. And she ain't got nothing to worry about, because I ain't going to write nothing bad about her. There's nothing bad to write, in my opinion. There's other people that might disagree with that. However, when you're talking about the anonymity and the privacy and how I want to release this information, I was in the throes of working on the memoir twice a week with my writing coach. And so I was put down one aspect of the memoir, and I picked a totally different perspective of it. That's the direction I was going to go. And then so I walked out of one bathroom to the other bathroom, and in between was my mom, who says, "What are you doing, Edward?" And I'm like, evidently I'm releasing some subconscious stuff, Mama. So I just wanted to give you give you more feedback and confirmation on OMFG, Cynthia Richmond. You're like the bomb diggity.
Thank you for that. And your mom has always been incredibly important to you, and you bring her up a lot, and you include her in readings, and you include your past and your history and your childhood. It's a lot woven into who you are as the psychic and medium and et cetera that you are and do. So Mom is somebody who you revere and respect and protect. Yeah. And it makes sense to me that she would be sort of available to you where you're releasing. The question the way you toned it, it didn't sound like she was saying it in a punitive or a judgmental way. She was just asking, "What are you doing, Edward?" Yeah. So she's kind of always going to be over your shoulder as you're writing, don't you think?
100,000%. Yes. And I talk to her every day. She'll pop in just randomly, and she'll just give me that little Southern sage mama advice here and there randomly.
Yes.
Well, I think we better take our break, but when we come back, let's go ahead and ask a few questions from our listeners.
Yes.
And so we're going to take a quick break. We're talking with the dream interpreter, and I mean, amazing woman.
Newsflash, she's like the #1 dream interpreter in the country.
Ever. Everywhere. Cynthia Richmond.
Thanks, you guys.
You're welcome. This is Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Connor.
And we're going to be right back. You suffer from anxiety, from depression, maybe even chronic pain? Well, listen up. Truth Be Told is going to tell you about a breakthrough program built on over 100 years of therapies used in America's returning veterans to help you successfully overcome PTSD, anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. The secret proven in study after study. Music therapy. The effects of music are nothing short of amazing. From strokes to PTSD, music has been shown to improve the quality of life. Now, one of the latest music therapy programs being used in America's veteran hospitals can be yours to experience for free at home and to help your own anxiety attacks, pain, and depression. Or just relax after a hard day. It's called Whole Tones. It takes music therapy to a new level. This revolutionary program makes use of specifically designed frequencies that have been shown to stimulate your body's natural healing power down to a cellular level. If it works for battle-scarred vets, can it work for you? Well, experience it for yourself for free at sweetwholetones.com. Like Tony Sweet, that's SWEET. Go to sweetwholetones.com. Now enjoy the show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. I'm Eddie Connor.
And I'm Tony Sweet.
And if you're just tuning in, we have the amazing, the #1 dream interpreter in the country with us. It's Cynthia Richmond, and I'm looking right at her book, The Dream Power Journal. Her first book is called, it's called Dream Power. That's right, Cynthia?
That's right. How to use your night dreams to change your life.
I love that. And the Dream Power Journal is a system for organizing your dreams to enhance your life. And this is my personal copy. And Cynthia's so gracious to interpret some of the dreams I had all the way back in 2011, honey.
Wow.
Amazing.
And so we have some people in the chat room. We have some very interesting dreams that they would love for you to interpret, if you don't mind. But first, I just want to let everybody know that you do dream coaching. And you also do coaching writing services. And I would love to know from you really quickly, how the coaching writing sessions are important as far as dream and dream coaching goes.
Okay, so dream coaching is doing what you were saying earlier, making it personal. We can do it via Skype or phone. I have clients all over, and it's the one-on-one. What does the dream mean? And it's also teaching my clients to incubate dreams, plant dream seeds, so that they can dream remedies and solutions to what is ever plaguing them in their life. So it's very personal. I love doing it. I've been a writer and author for a long, long time, and I've been teaching writing here in Sedona, the Story of Your Life workshop for 12 years. And more recently, I've been coaching people. Everybody's got at least one story in them, and that's their own personal life story. But people sometimes are intimidated to write. It's been a long time since they were in school. They're not sure if their grammar is polished up and all that kind of stuff. So what I do, I have a client right now who I love working with. She's in Canada. And once a week, we talk on the phone, and she sends me a chapter via email. I edit it and send it back to her in blue. And then we go over the common mistakes she's making. So I'm teaching her to become a better writer along the way as she's writing her book. So by the time she's finished, there'll be very little editing needed. So it's coaching gently, gently, teaching her good writing skills along the way. And I love doing it.
Oh, my goodness. So I love how that parallels, again, with what you helped us understand earlier when you interpreted the dream about me going from one restroom to the other and Mama asking, what are you doing? So what you're essentially doing also with both the coaching and the writing is helping us release some subconscious blocks that are keeping us from writing the authentic aspect of our life story.
Wow.
Well, it's kind of coming from the same place. Dreams come from subconscious. Our writing is coming. Sometimes people will sit down to write and 2 hours have gone by. They don't even realize it. They just get in that flow or that stream and they're doing it. And almost everybody who starts writing starts dreaming more and remembering more of their dreams, because the dream is there to help you write. I know people who write fiction who dream in the POV of their characters.
Yes.
They dream plots, they dream up titles. So they're very connected, dreaming and writing. And I love helping people to connect those and use those tools together.
Well, as an intuitive, which is my full-time job for 25 years now, the energy that I expend when I do 4 readings a day, which I only do twice a week, by the way, but when I do 4 readings a day, I'm pretty whipped at the end of the day.
Sure.
When I write for 4 to 8 hours, it's the identical energy expended, because you're using your imagination, your creativity, your artistic expression, and your intuitive instinct. And you're summoning all of that through you for a person in front of you. But when you're writing fiction or self-help, you expend the exact same energy.
Wow, that's amazing.
Good point. Absolutely.
That's amazing.
So we want to know about this dream, Cynthia. And I'm sure you've heard everything, but we're curious to know what this means.
Well, somebody in the chat room said, his name's Paul. He
Hi,
says,
Paul.
once a month I dream I'm playing volleyball pregnant. Male.
In the Olympics or
No,
just every day?
It says once a month I dream I'm playing volleyball pregnant.
Wow.
That's it? Okay. So men and women can have the dream that they're pregnant, and pregnancy in the language of dreams means you have conceived something, you had the idea for it, it's gestated, you've maybe nourished it, but you haven't delivered that baby, you haven't given birth to that project. It's a creative project that you are involved in. Now, volleyball is interesting. We can talk about the game of life. We can talk about setting them up, volleys. We can talk about some of the symbolism in the game of volleyball, but volleying is back and forth, and there's a definite winner at the end. And so there's something that you've conceived it, it's gestating, but you haven't given birth to it, and you're not sure. You're vacillating back and forth. Should I do it this way? Should I do it this way? When's the right time? You're having some questions about that. So that's probably what that dream means. It's interesting that it's once a month. See if you can tie it into whatever else is going on at that time of the month when you're having that dream, if it's consistently around the first or around the end of the month or whatever that might be. And then ask yourself in waking state, what am I unsure of with respect to this creative project? If you don't know what it is, start with that. What is the creative project? What is it that you were meant to deliver to this world? Is it a book? Is it a painting? Is it a speaking, engagement? What is that creative part of you haven't shown us yet?
That's
amazing.
So flipping powerful.
I would never even come close to it.
I love
Great.
the volleying aspect because there should be an exchange of energy. What goes out, you want it to come back, and then it is a game. So we might be being too serious about something. And newsflash, a baby wants to come out in 9 months, child. So one way or the other, they're going to find a way out. And so, I mean, that's remarkable.
Well, in volleyball, you need a really strong partner to set up that shot so you can get it. So maybe, Paul, you need to ask yourself, do I have the right partners in place to get this to where I want it to go?
And if you don't have the right partner in place, what you do, Paul, is you wake up in the middle of the night very quietly, and then you just push your partner out of the bed. Just saying, if you want to go that route.
And then go to the bathroom for cleansing.
I know. No, I'm from the South, so this is a common dream in the South, but it's also a common reality. What happens when you wake up in your dream and you have no teeth?
Oh, that is one of the top 5 most common dreams. A lot of people dream about that. And as far back as recorded history, people were dreaming about that. And so the historical connection to that is that without your teeth, or let's say an animal, without its teeth, an animal can't defend itself, eat, procure the food in the first place. And so an animal that loses its teeth typically dies. Wow. And so it was connected to a fear of death. But in the more modern context, which is where we live, it has to do with appearance and communication. So a fear of not looking your best, or a fear that you said too much. Think about phrases again, like we said, pissed off earlier.
Yes.
I can't sink my teeth into it. I don't have enough information to make a decision. Think about common phrases, because the subconscious has a great sense of humor, and it'll use those phrases that we're familiar with to communicate with us.
Wow.
This is amazing.
What's the most outrageous dream you have ever had that when you woke up from it, you either knew it was a premonition or you knew it was a game changer?
Well, I've had lots of dreams with Oprah in them, and I was on the Oprah show, and that was kind of a life-changing experience. But the most impactful dream I ever had was when my grandmother Rachel visited me in my dream after she passed away. And I think I've told you that one before, but just briefly, I was missing her very, very much. She was the person I would have loved to have talked with. She was like Mama is to you, Eddie. My grandma Rachel was to me, and I was going through some stuff with Mr. Wrong, and I really would have loved to have had a conversation with her. Mr. Her recipe cards that day, and traced her handwriting, just trying to feel close to her, and remembered when she made all those dishes and all those Jell-O salads and everything. and that night I was asleep, and she came to me and she held my hands. My grandmother had arthritis and she had gnarly knuckles, and they were her hands. They were warm. And I wanted to open my eyes and look at her, but somehow intuitively knew I shouldn't do that. And so I just sent her love. And when I felt like that was finished and I received love, then I slowly opened my eyes and she slowly released her grip. But it was so vivid and real and such perfect timing. And that's the most remarkable dream I've ever had.
That's great.
Wow. Is there somebody in the chat room?
Oh, yeah. We have a couple more. But
good.
You finish what you were saying. But actually, the first one, not too many people probably can relate to, at least not a man.
Right.
But this one, I think, Eve is very kind of general, but she says, I don't have a specific dream, but I'm always lucid. I have lucid dreams where I feel a presence, and I know that I am in my own room, that I'm in the dream, but I can't wake up. I can't wake up at all. But she feels a presence, but she can't wake up.
Okay.
So I don't know if that's a fear she was saying, or if it's just, yeah.
Well, lucid dreaming means that you are aware that you're dreaming while you're dreaming, and that you can change up the dream. So some people come by that naturally, and some people train themselves and learn how to do it. It's a very helpful tool once you master it. You can imagine if you have a dream where a lion's chasing you, you can turn around and make it into a pussycat. You can change it up. So that's kind of fun to work with. A lot of people work with that with creativity and invention and things like that. But dreaming that you can't wake up, for me, Eddie, you're already thinking this, I know it. It's about consciousness, and it's about the desires there to become more aware and more conscious, to elevate the spirituality, to come maybe more from kindness and compassion, whatever that might mean for you. but there's a part of you that can't do it. And so usually, as you said, Tony, that is about fear. If I open myself, I'll feel vulnerable. If I'm vulnerable, things could happen to me. Bad things could happen to me. Scary things could happen to me. I don't understand this spirituality. What if I attract the wrong thing? People have so much of that kind of thing. So for me, Eve, I would slowly, if you relate to that interpretation, then gently go into a metaphysical bookstore, look around at everything, see if you feel drawn to anything in particular, like the runes or tarot cards or astrology or just one thing, just one little thing, and take a class or read or gently start opening yourself, and always use psychic protection. That is, wrap yourself up in divine white light and know that you're safe.
I love that.
Great advice. Great advice. So, Eve, I hope that helped. And but we do have a couple more, and I want to make sure we get to them. But Paul, he said he was being chased down by a very large, hairy man and stabbing him to defend myself. He goes, I woke up as I was stabbing him with the thought, wow, it takes a lot more to stab someone than in the movies.
Is this volleyball Paul?
No, different Paul.
Different Paul. Okay.
Okay. Well, some dreams are very, very unsettling, like when we're stabbing somebody or something like that. Being chased is the most common nightmare for both adults and children. And being chased means something's gaining on you, something's pressuring you. It could be a deadline. It could be an addiction. A big hairy man, I don't know, whatever you associate Paul to a big hairy man. Sounds like wild, sounds like natural, sounds like untamed, something maybe. Take a look into that idea. The idea that it takes more to stab somebody than in the movies, that's an interesting part of the dream for me, because everything looks easy in the movies. And when we actually attempt it in life, of course, there's a lot more to it. It's a lot harder. The actual act of stabbing in the language of dreams means penetration, getting into somebody, getting under their skin. So again, figure out what it is that's chasing you and see how it's getting under your skin or what you want to do to eliminate it.
And is it true that sometimes in a dream, whoever's in the dream is a mirror of you on some level?
That is one way to interpret dreams. There's many different schools of thought about that, but one is the Gestalt is that, yes, every person and everything is an aspect of self. Okay. And so it could be the untamed, natural part of self.
I love this.
Well, I find it fascinating that somebody was chasing him and he was stabbing the person. What if it was reversed, where the guy was chasing and he was being stabbed? What would be the difference?
So in this case, Paul is more empowered. He's the one that has the weapon, and he's the one that's using it. So he wants to, he wants to eliminate whatever this is that's gaining on him and putting pressure on him. He's ready to do that. It's just harder than he thought it would be. So if it's an addiction, he's like, I can tackle this. I'm never going to have another cigarette. And then it's a lot harder than he thought.
And then the stabbing is getting inside of the psyche of the very thing you're trying to conquer, and then you do, and then bam, look at you, girl.
Wow.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Ta-da! All right, so I have Christopher. He said, last night I dreamed a friend I haven't seen in about 10 years showed up at my doorstep. He was a vampire and had come to ask for me to stake him. So he did.
Oh.
So he actually stabbed, or staked him in through the heart. So,
okay.
What about that?
Now, blood is the food of vampires, and in the language of dreams, blood is our life force, our vital energy. A lot of times in dreams, where there's blood, it's someone is taking our life force, or someone is an emotional vampire. And we're with them, and we feel depleted by the time we leave them because they really rob us of our energy.
Right. So
this is an old friend visiting Christopher and wants him to. And what does it mean when you stake a vampire? What happens?
They die.
Yeah, he put wood stake through the heart.
Okay, so I'm not up on my vampire. Sorry, but if you so he wants to. So the friend is the vampire and wants to stop being a vampire. Isn't that interesting? What if it is someone in your life, Christopher, who has been a real drain on you, really sucking your life force energy, and they don't want to do that anymore, and you are willing to help them not do that by reflecting back to them and helping them see that it's not a reciprocal give and take relationship, but it's all give, give, give from your side. And there might be something that could really heal and mend a relationship with this.
Wow,
and I love how they came and politely knocked on the
Yeah,
door
they did.
and said, "Oh, by the way, I'm getting past this,
Well,
so it's time to create some healthy boundaries."
Vampires cannot go through the door without your permission.
On True Blood, they can't.
Wow.
Which is why I got my dream journal, everybody. The Dream Power Journal, a system for organizing your dreams to enhance your life. Let me tell you what a perfect segue this show is with Miss Superstar Cynthia Richmond. Okay.
We love her.
So here's a dream I also had in 2011. Tony, Sweet, and I were in a parking deck.
Hey.
And he was standing outside of my car, and then he was getting ready to get in the car, and then I drove away. The next thing it went to was we were walking barefooted through the parking deck, and there were lots of grease and oil stains around. I was stepping over them, and Tony was trying to get me to step into them because we were going to the set of True Blood, Miss Cynthia Richmond.
That sounds like me, though.
Yeah, and then when we get to the thing, it's like we are live on television talking about True Blood. And then for some reason, I became an expert on the subject because I love the show. And I had clothes for each upcoming True Blood scene and appearance, especially the shirts and the color palette and the color themes. Ain't that wild and crazy, girl? Cray. So what was Tony Sweet doing to me in my dream, Cynthia?
Well,
Probably the same thing I'm doing now.
Challenging you to get down and dirty, wasn't he?
Amen, sister.
Evidently. And I was barefooted and everything.
So barefoot. So feet are what we stand on, what we stand for, our foundation. Yours are naked. They're not protected, both of you. And there's oil and there's schmutz, whatever is in a parking garage. So so he's asking you to be present in whatever it is that you're doing together, to feel the whole thing, not just the pretty parts.
I want you to zoom in on this shit-eating grin Tony's got right now.
Does that make sense?
See, listen to me. Ed.
Yeah, I'll listen. I should listen to him. Is that right, Cynthia?
You should listen to me.
You probably trust him more.
Yeah.
See?
We're on international radio, and I'm being called out. Just want you to know. So, and then
do what I say, not what I do. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, there's a lot of things he does that I wouldn't do. But that is remarkable. What are the chances are? In 2011, I had a dream about True Blood and us walking through a parking deck barefooted.
At least you wasn't pregnant. You're barefoot and pregnant.
Well, if I had, I wouldn't mind being pregnant in a dream because that means I got another genius idea that's coming through.
That's
true.
right.
That's true.
So now, Cynthia, you said the most common dream is being chased. Another one of the top 5 dreams is your teeth falling out in the
What
dream.
about flying?
And flying has to be one of the top 10.
Flying's one of the top 5. So the being chased is the top nightmare. But the 5 most common dreams that almost everybody's had are flying, falling, you're back to school and it's test day and you didn't study, and naked in public.
I knew you were going to say naked in public. The only thing that
so have you had a version of that?
Many times.
Yeah.
I think, I have too.
It's
Many
usually
times.
that we feel overexposed or unprepared. And when I was on book tour from Simon & Schuster, I did all the morning drive radio, and all those guys, their version of the dream is the dead air dream, where they go to the men's room or they can't find something's not working and there's dead air. That's the big unprepared catastrophe. Or the television guys, one of the guys, Maurice Dubois, who's a beautiful news anchor in New York, and his was he didn't have a tie. He had the suit, the shirt, all ready to go, tiny in the air without. So those are related to the naked public or only publicly dressed dream.
That is amazing. What is your number one public persona dream?
Just went really wonky. Couldn't hear the question.
What is your personal number one public persona dream?
Oh, well, here's one. A client of mine was pregnant, and in her dream, she went to she was baking a cake in the oven, and she went to town to get birthday candles, and she heard music, and so she went into the club where she heard the music coming from, and it was Mick Jagger, and he pulled her up on stage, and she started singing and rocking out with him, and the dream for me was about she has a bun in the oven,
Yeah.
and she's going to get the candles to celebrate. But she's worried she's going to lose her sex, drugs, rock and roll part of self when she's a mommy. And so, the dream was helping her realize that she could still kick up her heels and still have fun even after she delivered that baby.
That is and it's so simple. So just like in metaphysics and the paranormal, a lot of people are a little nervous about the world that I live in every day. Once you learn the foundation and the structure of non-physical, then it demystifies it tremendously, and it makes people feel more comfortable. And I feel like this is exactly what Cynthia is the queen of the universe, I might add, where you teach us the bare bones, the foundation, and the basics about dream interpretation. So then we're empowered, we're more aware, and then we can take control of our lives at night and then make our daily lives happily ever after.
You really can become your own best dream interpreter with a little coaching and a little guidance, and once in a while, when you're stuck, calling on somebody who's trained and educated in that area.
Wow. And if you are just tuning in, first of all, you missed a great show. So luckily it's going to be on YouTube and iHeartRadio and all of the other great places, and on truthbetoldwebtv.com. And you can find out more about Cynthia Richmond at dreampower.net. And I'm not joking. I use my Dream Power Journal all the time. As you can tell, we talked about it a lot on the show today. And her other book is called Dream Power. You can find out more at dreampower.net. And now you have your next memoir writing class is beginning on Tuesday, September the 13th, and that's in Sedona, Arizona, correct?
It is in Sedona, Arizona. I'm working on the opportunity of reaching out to people through Skype or other choices, but right now you have to be in the Verde Valley in Arizona. That's
perfect. And so you do dream coaching, and then you also do coaching writing services. And, I'm going to have to be calling you for some coaching writing services, okay?
I would love to anytime, Eddie. You know that.
Awesome. Thank you.
We love Cynthia Richmond.
Well, I love you guys. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, and we definitely will be back again.
Okay.
All right, love. We'll talk to you soon.
We'll be in touch soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to take a break, and when we come back, we have another great show for you guys. But please go and get the books. Go to Amazon. Go to dreampower.net.
Yep.
Check out all her stuff, and like I said, we all dream. So,
even the people who say they don't dream. And I just want to point something out about the Dream Power Journal of Cynthia's. She's the first Dream Power, and I'm one of those people that have dreamt my whole life. She has set up this journal so that you create your own table of contents. She has created a dream log in this journal so that I can go back and I can reference the dreams that we were just talking about on the air. And she has you listed by date and the title, just a couple of little words. So it re-triggers you, and then you put the page number. So if it helps you track dreams you dream about the most, so you can see what pattern your subconscious is trying to teach you about. And it's the only one out there where you can do that.
Well, this, like I said, this is a great book, and even for myself, you forget dreams because I think you do. If you set this book right next to you, maybe you can just write those down as soon as you wake up.
That's exactly what I do.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're going to take a quick break. We hope you guys had a great time. And again, right here on Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie, every Friday from 4 to 6, and you can watch us on YouTube and iHeartRadio and iTunes, and go to truthbetoldwebtv.com. Check out all our upcoming guests. In 2 weeks, I know we have another psychic extravaganza, don't we?
In 2 weeks?
Yeah.
I think there's 5 Fridays in this month.
Is there 5?
Yeah, I think the 30th might be the last day of the month.
Well, we'll just go to truthbetoldwebtv.com and find that out. All right, so we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. I'm Tony Sweet.
I'm Eddie Connor.
And we are Truth Be Told on Universal Broadcasting Network.
Bye, y'all.
Back. Hey, thank you for listening to Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie right here on Universal Broadcasting Network. Make sure you go to our iTunes page. Just type in Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. Listen to us on iHeartRadio. Again, Truth Be Told with Tony and Eddie. And go to our YouTube channel, subscribe, and please leave a comment. We'd love to hear from you. So please support our sponsors and make sure you listen to us every Friday right here on Universal Broadcasting Network from 4 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Until then, have a good week.